Okay, so my dad has always been that type of guy where he doesn't believe in anything unless he witnessed it for himself. He's a pretty macho guy and isn't into all that fairy tale and ghost nonsense. Yet that all changed for him one day. It was about 2:30 in the afternoon when my dad came home. He works the night shift at the old El Reno prison. He says it's a pretty laid-back job for the most part. He'll usually drive around the prison in one of the guard trucks or keeps watch in the towers, but one night he was sent to do a sweep of the chapel, as to make sure no one was in there who wasn't supposed to be. His boss, let's call him Jack, told him to come back and check in with him after he had done so. My dad walked through the yard out to the chapel, and as soon as he walked in he said he felt just a wave of nervousness come over him. He flicked on the old lights and walked in and began to check all around the room. After about a couple minutes he said a man, dressed in the same uniform as him, walk out from the little office in the back. My dad asked the man if he was already doing the sweep of the chapel, and the man replied, "Yes, I'll take it from here." So, confused as to why he was sent out there to check the chapel, my dad just gave a little, "Oh, okay, I'll let Jack know." My dad returned to his boss about 15 minutes after he had sent him. Jack looked at him and asked, "How did you get done so fast? You couldn't have possibly checked that whole place in such a short amount of time?" "Another guard's already in there, said he'd check it," my dad said. And I guess Jack didn't think anything of it. As long as the chapel was checked, everything was fine with him. Well, this is where it gets creepy. About 3 days after, my dad said he was walking down the halls of the prison and stopped to look at the display case of all the old photos of other guards in the past. As he was browsing the photos, he said his heart sank, and his blood froze. One of the pictures he came across was that very same guard he had encountered in the chapel, only this guard was dead. Apparently about 4 years before my dad started working there, a riot had broken out in the chapel and a guard was stabbed to death, and that guard was the same man my dad has seen in the old chapel. But out of the 12 years of working there, not once had he ever heard about the riot until now. I don't know if they just don't talk about it, scared it might run off of some newbies, or if it's just something a lot of them had forgot about. All I can say is, my dad is now a firm believer in the paranormal, and not once has he ever gone back into the creepy chapel.